Hello, love. If you have always considered yourself a sensitive soul, and you have lost yourself, who you are, in relationships, could be any relationship, friendship, family, romantic, significant other. If you have ever felt like you've been too much or been told that you've been too much for being so sensitive energetically in relationship, if you have known for a while now that all of these experiences, the disappointments, the challenges that you have come up against in relationship, they've all been happening for a deeper reason for you, essentially, to transmute all the challenges, all the shit into gold, as I like to say, then this video is for you. I want to share with you, coming off of all the experiences that I've had as a soul in these 44 years here on Earth as a human being. These are 3 things up until this point, with what I know to be true for me, that I no longer do as a spiritual empath, and how they have given me the freedom to come back home to myself. So if this is pinging for you, then stick around. We're going to get right into it, starting with number 1, the biggie: overgiving. Yeah, this one is a big one because this is empath default mode. We are naturally geared to overgive our time, our energy, our resources in relationship. Now, there are beautiful things about this, absolutely. But then there are not so good things about this when you are being taken advantage of, and when the other person, party, people do not value what it is you have to give. And a lot of this at a deeper level is also their ability to recognize, especially as a spiritual empath, what it is that you are giving. Now, there's kind of an overlying layer here, and I won't get too off topic with this, but we're going to touch upon it in each of these things that has to do with thresholds and healthy boundaries. And that is a completely different topic that does apply here, that we will be exploring moving forward, of course. But a lot of this gets learned through trial and error in relationships with empaths. So oftentimes when we are overgiving, we inherently, innately begin to sense that. So I invite you now to look back at situations, or maybe in a situation you're presently in, where you know at a deeper level that you are over giving, and where perhaps you might be trying to convince yourself that it's okay, even though the other person, the other party, is not recognizing it or appreciating it. For me, it's also about understanding where your threshold is when it comes to your ability to give. Empaths, coming from an unhealthier, dare I say, dysfunctional place, but remember that we kind of grow up thinking that this is the way it is, okay? Disclaimer. We often are giving from a place where we think we need to do this, right? There's so much underlying stuff here psychologically, right? Psycho-spiritually, around being a good person or being there for people or what it means to be empathic. And a lot of this comes from programming and indoctrination, which is a whole other topic for discussion. This overgiving comes from the beautiful analogy that gets thrown around quite a bit, which has a lot of truth to it, when you're giving from an empty cup. When you're giving from a place of you think you need to do this. This is what it means to be a good person. This is what it means to be empathic. Meanwhile, for me, my body was giving me signals left, right, and center, and so was my intuition that something was off. Now, a really simple way to know when this is happening is when you energetically are feeling out of whack. You're feeling like something is off, tired, exhausted. And when you keep on coming back to this situation because somehow the overgiving validates who you are. This is something that I've learned through friendships, I've learned through family, and I've learned very well in more intimate relationships. It starts with, at a deeper level, listening to your intuition and your body and trusting in that. So please leave a comment. Where are you at on this part of your journey? What has helped me come to understand, first of all, why I have this tendency to overgive in situations where people do not value and appreciate it, is honestly the most basic thing is coming back to me. Coming back to a deeper understanding of who I am, what I have to give, the value of that, and trusting myself moving forward that when I'm in situations where it starts to feel off, or it starts to feel like there is an imbalance in terms of who's giving, then I know I need to back up. I know I need to pull my energy back and reassess. And also, sometimes this involves, depending on how healthy the connection is, it can also involve you addressing those needs or communicating those needs and then seeing where the chips will fall afterwards. Because we do learn through relationship, right? And the other person that, this is a whole other topic for discussion again, but when another person is with a spiritual empath, it's no coincidence. There's a reason for it, right? So they're also learning as well. We're always learning with each other. Number 2 is being available for those who are not available for me. This is kind of coming off of the first one in terms of overgiving a little bit. There's a little bit of overlap here. But I'm speaking here specifically about those who clearly are not physically, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually, energetically available for me. This is going to also really ping for you when you have gotten lost in a relationship, like when you've lost yourself, okay? Because it becomes all about the other person and not about you. When another person isn't available for you, that is, it's pretty straightforward, isn't it? It's pretty straightforward. I feel like I could just end on this note with number 2, because there's a tendency in the spiritual, energetically sensitive empath to just continue to pour into situations thinking you're going to save it. And this is when we get into the deeper psychology of what could be going on. The programming, the indoctrination. What compels you to give and be available to someone who is not there for you. This for me has come through, again, a lot deeper self-understanding around who I am and what I have to offer. A lot of this always comes back to self-worth and how you are valuing yourself. And I've come to a point now in this life and along this soul journey where I've done so much energetic work on myself. I've done so much communicating of my needs that I realize that I actually cannot even be. It's like an energetic mismatch now to be in a position where I'm available for somebody who's not available for me. The deeper thing going on here has to do with self-worth, self-esteem, and how much you value what you give. And also feeling deserving of receiving the same kind of availability energetically from the other person. Okay? And finally, number 3 is trying to understand or psychoanalyze or put myself in the shoes of someone else trying to understand clearly their bad behavior. I feel like this is the biggest empath trap. And this is where a lot of enabling happens and a lot of compassion manipulation happens for empaths. This need and this compulsion, again, to understand, psychoanalyze, to be compassionate to or around somebody else's bad behavior needs to be redirected back to us in terms of trying to understand. It's like we got to take that energy and bring it back to why this compulsion, why this need to psychoanalyze this and somehow have a tremendous amount of understanding around someone's bad behavior towards you without exercising healthy boundaries around that. Because part of the empath trap here is that we enable it or we allow it to continue and we just say, well, that's because they were abused when they were younger, or that's because, they had a really shitty mom growing up, or that's because they have, really bad PTSD from a particular trauma that they experienced. Now, I want to make it absolutely clear here that I'm not overriding those things when I say it, but that's never an excuse for someone to behaving badly towards you, okay? This is going to be different for everyone. There's a lot of deeper things going on in this one. It could be a savior complex. It could be, again, issues around self-worth. It could also be just identifying with really fucked up ideas around what it means to be a good person, okay? All of this, all three of these things, they are all based off of a much deeper understanding of yourself. For me, it has been through so much growth when it comes to relationships. My intuition speaking to me. I really want to emphasize here that spiritual empaths, emphasis on the spiritual. We're dealing with a whole other context here than with someone who just identifies with being empathic. Because the spiritual aspect here, you're dealing with a whole other level of intuition, connection to the divine, to source, to God. You're also dealing with very interesting situations when it comes to the people that in a way you have a sacred contract with, a soul contract with, an agreement with, right? You're here to meet them in this lifetime to grow and expand. And the deeper thing going on here is that you know at a deeper level that these interactions, these relationships are not for nothing. They're actually here for a very good reason in terms of you stepping more and more into your sovereignty, into alchemizing all the shit into gold, and to growing beyond anything that you could possibly imagine here in this lifetime, because this is the soul work that you're doing here. You signed up, in a sense, for the soul work, okay? Not for the bad experiences. I want to make that absolutely clear. You signed up for the soul work and the soul growth, and that's often what differentiates spiritual empaths, deeply sensitive, energetic souls, from someone who simply is empathic. I'm going to leave it there. Please share your comments, your insights here, anything you want to share moving forward. If this video pinged for you, like, share, and please become a part of the family. Subscribe to the channel. I am going to be announcing within the next couple of weeks or so a membership platform, a membership portal, more than anything, for us to be connecting as spiritual empaths, to go into these things more deeper, a community where we come back home to ourselves. And if you are feeling called to go deeper with this, I also offer one-on-one sessions where we can do this together. All of that information is in the description box below. I'm sending you so much love wherever you are here on beautiful Mama Gaia. Thank you for being here in love and liberation, always.